Welcome to the You Heard What I Said podcast, where we discuss real, raw conversations about life, love, relationships, and the lessons we've learned.
What's up, everybody? This is You Heard What I Said, and this is your girl Precious. And we got over here my boy Keon. What's up, Keon?
What's up, Precious? How you doing?
Doing good. It's been a long day, but I'm doing good.
Man,
What
how you
about
doing?
yourself?
How you doing? So like I'm down south, but I guess I am. So
I know, right? It's been one of them days. Actually, the weather's nice. Yesterday was crazy. It was raining all day and storming, but today is a good day. Today is
all
a
right,
good day. Yeah.
all
Mm-hmm.
right, Mr. Q. Today was a good day.
Yeah.
I hear you. Same over here. It was a good day, but it's hot though. You know where I'm at. It's hot. It's 3 digits,
Oh my
and
goodness.
yeah. So
I am not trying to live that 3-digit life.
nah. And this is July.
Yeah, I can't imagine
So
what it's gonna be like in August.
yeah.
Can't imagine.
So I mean, I don't know if it's gonna ever hit 4 digits, but where we at right now, 3 is enough. But
I hear you.
besides the weather, it's all good here today.
That's good. Yeah, the only thing I had going on this past weekend is we had to replace our toilets in the house. So I had people coming in replacing toilets. So I had to clean up that whole bathroom, get all that dust and everything, but it's working out good.
Dude,
Nope.
replacing toilets. So I remember I had to replace I had to replace a what's it called? Some splunge, some little ring thing that's underneath the toilet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Dude, and you're talking about me, who I need to make phone calls if there's any type of issues. And here I am pulling up the toilet, and there's a big old hole, and I got to replace it, and then squeeze it
Right.
down and do all that stuff. So I can imagine what you probably went through because it was
Oh
no joke
man.
when I did it. It took, supposed to only taking a few minutes. It took a couple of days to kind of complete the process. But I
Not a
got it
couple of
done.
days.
Yeah, I got it done. I had to watch a few videos, just to
Well,
make sure I
that's
was doing it
good.
right. But that's how I'm living.
Yeah, I'm glad it's fixed. Yeah, I didn't do it myself. Somebody came in and took care of that for us. But it's good. It's one of them high seats, so I ain't gotta bend down too low.
There
So
you
that's
go.
perfect.
There you go.
Right.
So I'm not going to ask though, what was the cause of it, but I'm assuming,
Hey.
I'm assuming, it was just a little wear and tear.
Right, yeah. We ain't gonna talk about that. Let's
you
just
know.
say it's been in for about 10 years. We'll say that. He was just getting old.
There you go.
Right,
Kind of
just getting old.
had to remodel a little bit.
Right,
So
exactly.
I got
Yeah,
you. I got
we'll
you.
leave it at that.
We all got to
Hmm.
do that sometimes.
Right, little maintenance.
Little maintenance. That's
Okay, well,
cool.
let's get into topic number one. And this is something I've been thinking about for a while because, I'm ready to get back out here on the scene. So, what do you think the number one thing is that you need or want out of a relationship? Because I got mine, but I want to hear what you think,
Oh,
as a man.
dude. Okay, as a man. So I'm
Right,
not speaking for all men. I'm speaking just for
right,
me. Because I don't want to
right.
say that
Of
this,
course.
this
This is just
for
your point of view.
everybody or anything like that. But this is just from my standpoint. 'Cause I know it's funny. I was at a comedy show. Oh man, what
Mm-hmm,
was it? We were it was a couple years ago,
mm-hmm.
and we were sitting in the front row, and actually the stand-up comedian asked us. He asked everybody in the crowd. That's what he does because we actually saw him
Okay,
twice. He was like,
okay.
"Hey, so what do like how long you been married? Whatever." They're like,
Right.
"Oh, 5 years. Oh, 10 years. Oh, 20 years. All this stuff."
Mm-hmm.
Then they asked like, what do you consider? Just like the question that you asked, in terms of the keep it together, whatever.
Right,
And everybody
exactly.
said stuff, and because we were actually in the front row,
Mm-hmm.
he asked us. And
Put you on the
and this is
spot.
hundreds, right. I'm saying hundreds of people there, and I'm just like, oh, like what do I
That's
say? And it
crazy.
was a big old pause because I didn't have an answer.
Right.
Because
Uh-oh.
this person said this person said that, and I didn't want to duplicate what they said, and
Right.
so I was at a pause, and I forgot what he said, but it was funny
Mm-hmm.
in terms of, because I couldn't think of an answer.
Right.
But I think he said something like, "Oh, silence," or he said something just to help me out or whatever. But typically, I'm not sure if this is yours or not, but a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people say the word communication.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big one because you definitely need
Right.
to communicate and all that stuff. But I want
Yeah,
to
of
do
course.
I want to do a different C.
Okay.
In terms of it's kind of another was it similar word for communication,
What's
kind of,
this big
but
C?
right, mine is clarity.
Oh, okay. Let's get into it.
Yeah, it's
Clarity.
clarity, because I had it when this question was when you brought up this about one of the questions that's going to be asked today. I was thinking
Hmm.
about clarity, because in any relationship you got to get everything straightened out and clear, and I'm realizing
Yes.
that you got to do it in the beginning.
Yeah, that's
you know,
true.
you know, because all of a sudden, a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, and if y'all didn't talk about this or that, then that's
Mhm.
where arguments come into play. That's where some
Right.
disagreements come into play, and that's where it may take months or even years, but that's when things start to
Yeah.
break up, because all of a sudden that clarity isn't there. And when I think of the word clarity, I think about a couple of things. One, if you're in if you're in a relationship that you're looking at long term, a lot
Mhm.
of times people
Mhm.
ask, you may not want to ask like on the first date, but
Right.
it's family, kids.
Yeah. Mhm.
Be clear. Do you
Mhm.
want, a herd of kids? When I say herd, in a
Definitely
positive
don't want no
word,
hurt.
right? Do you want a lot? Because I know
Yeah.
back as we know as family,
Mhm.
back in 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, 5, 6, 7, 8 siblings was normal.
That's true. That's true.
And so, do you want that, or are you looking
That's not my
for?
life.
That's not my
That's
life either. I want to be able to remember my kids' names, you know. so,
Yes.
so
Yes.
instead of hey I want to remember their names. And so instead of that, you got to think about kids. Like, how many kids do you want? Do you want a lot? Do you want a little, or
Mhm.
do you want none? Because think about clarity. If all of a sudden you're thinking about two or three, and then your significant other is not wanting any, that's a problem. There's always going to be that
Mhm. Right.
that friction, because if you want some and they don't want any, then all of a sudden you go somewhere and you see kids. Oh, it's going to be kind of like, man, do I really want to be with this person because this person don't want to have kids and I do, or vice versa. And
Yeah.
so you got to have that clarity regarding that. One thing that is some kind of overlook or whatever, is also about religion. Are
Mhm.
you a religious person? Or do you spend your Sundays watching football
Right.
when the season's in the play, or whatever sport, or are you just kicking and sleeping in, or whatever you're doing? So that's another thing. And another thing is finances, because you got to figure it out in terms of finances, because
Right.
nowadays people are working from home. Nowadays
Mhm.
people are doing a lot of working 2 or 3 jobs. And you got to think about, there are a lot of people that are like truck drivers, where they may be driving, some drive, come home at night, some they come
Right.
home on the weekend. So you got to figure that out. But also you got to figure out about, okay, how we're going to live. Are we going to
Yes.
combine our income and buy a house? Are we going to just kind of live in an apartment? Are we gonna,
Mhm.
live at your house? Are we gonna move? Are we gonna move in?
Right.
What
No,
are we
that's
gonna do? Are we
true.
gonna have a big one or a small one? Are we gonna find
Mhm.
something to entertain with? Or a lot of that stuff, because down the road, if you don't get that clarity, it's gonna cause a
Right.
lot of argument. Then just like, also like a bucket list. Do you like to
Mhm.
travel? Do you not want to travel? But
Mhm.
when I talked about kids a few minutes ago, you got to think about not only how many, but just
Yeah.
like how we were raised, how are we going to raise
Right.
those kids if we do have some?
Exactly. Mhm. These are all
Because
valid points. Yeah.
back in the day, if I got out of line, or if you got out of line, what would happen?
Right.
You
You
know,
you getting that shoe, it
getting that
might get
shoe.
broke off on you. You
You
going out, you get no switches. Yes, I know. I know.
and nowadays, 911 is being called if you do that.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
so people are in timeouts, or people are, or whatever they do nowadays. You got to go
Mhm.
stand in the corner and do it.
Mhm.
You watch all those little TikTok videos, whatever, where they stand in the corner and do all this stuff, or whatever. If we got to decide, are we gonna kind of raise our kids old school, or are we
Right.
gonna not? And
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
just,
I think it's whatever works best
yeah,
for
whatever
every
works
person. Yeah.
best.
And
But go ahead.
those finances, that's a biggie. Those in relationships. So yeah, I'm definitely with that financing,
That's
and
that's one of the biggest things, is like you said. Yeah.
right. And when you talk about clarity, yeah, communication is good and you can communicate all day long. But if you don't understand it, where the other person is coming from, like you said, that clarity, yeah, it's not gonna work. So That's a great one. I like that. That's a great one.
And one last thing before I turn it back over to
Mm-hmm.
you is when you talk about the clarity communication, one thing that I've
Right.
learned over the years is about listening.
Yes.
But when I think of listening, when I trained or whatever, I talk about not only just listening, I talk about
Mm-hmm.
like listening, but seeking to understand. To understand what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
Because you could
Mm-hmm.
say, you could say, you could be on a conversation, yeah, yeah, but then all of a sudden, like, what did I say? And then you're like,
Exactly. That part.
can you repeat that
Mm-hmm.
again?
Mm-hmm.
But so you got to understand that sometimes you got to, if someone says something, you just like what you did, either repeat it
Right.
or put your little two
Right.
cents into it just to make sure that they understand it, But that's one thing about relationship in terms of
Yes.
the clarity is to make sure that the other person understands your point of view, because that's extremely important. And
Mm-hmm.
finances, like you said, that'll make you or break you. I'll make you or break you in terms of their
All the
finances.
time.
Yeah.
All the time.
So,
Yeah.
but now, what is
Okay,
about
it's
you?
my turn.
It's your
Okay.
turn. We can come back to me, but what's your number one thing that you need from a relationship?
You know, my number one thing I think is trust. Because it's like if I trust you, that means I'm trusting you with my heart. I'm trusting you to protect me and love me and, provide in areas where I'm not able to provide for myself. So I think it's just that feeling of protection.
Right.
I just need to know that when I walk into a room, you're not setting me up to, what I'm saying, for any type of failure. Uh, yeah, I think with trust, I think trust is like the foundation, of most relationships. That just means that I could confide in you, I could rely on you,
Yeah.
I could believe what it is that you're telling me, you're honest, with the
Yeah.
things that you're saying, even if it's something that I don't want to hear. I'm gonna trust that you're gonna, be accountable for your actions, you're gonna mean exactly, what you say
Yeah.
so I just think trust is that thing that I need to believe in you. I need to that you are who you say you are.
There you go.
It's like
Oh,
show me.
I know. Speaking of that, I'm not gonna, say the show, just because we're not, they're not our sponsor yet, or
Right,
or
not
anything
yet,
like that.
not
So I
yet.
want to give a shout out to him or not, as he has his own little judge show or whatever.
Okay.
Well, I'm not gonna go into names, but you can probably figure it out. But I was just watching the episode, and they were just talking about that in terms of trust and
Hmm.
honesty, where there were two sisters, and one sister was actually acting like the other sister, and
Hmm.
then all of a sudden that
Hmm.
almost ended their friendship and their sistership, or whatever you want
Yeah.
to call it, because all of a
Hmm.
sudden now that, like, that trust was not there anymore, because she was acting like she was another person. So
Right.
that's a big thing. And just to kind of think about what you said. So also, what if, like, say you're in a relationship and you are living together,
Right.
you, in terms of trust,
Hmm.
that's huge, because you look over to the left, or if you sleep on the other side, you look over to the right, that person's laying right next to you.
Right. Yeah.
And that trust has to be high, because
Yeah.
when you cold, when
Yeah, I need to be peaceful
yeah, right,
at
instead of
night. I don't need to be waking up to no craziness.
right, you know what I'm saying? So that's up there for sure. So
Right.
that's a good one.
Especially us with being this plus 40 and bringing in new people. It's like it's hard to meet new people. So to bring them in, yeah, I definitely have to trust you. Yeah, I have to trust that you're going to protect me in all situations that we're in.
That's for
So,
sure true. 'Cause you got to ask a lot of questions too. And that's one thing I've
yes.
learned over the years is I used to not be concerned about asking questions too much, but
Hmm. Hmm.
to know the answer that you want to know, you got to ask those questions. And sometimes, like you said, it may be, it may be uncomfortable to ask
Right.
those questions,
Hmm.
but it has to be
Yeah.
done, because you got to feel good about that person, because supposedly
Right.
you want to be with that person for a long time,
Hmm.
and you're sacrificing, those minutes can't be taken
Yeah.
away. Those
Right.
days can't be taken away.
Exactly.
You can have memories, yeah, for sure, but you can't get
Hmm.
that time back.
Right. Yeah. I need to trust that all those words that are coming out of your mouth, you mean them. You mean them. You're showing them. you're showing up for me every day, like you said you're going to. So yeah, I need that trust.
Heard what she said. You heard it. You heard it. So that's the
That
snap
part.
it. Snap,
Right.
it's like old school. That's for sure true.
On that part, I'm gonna need to take a little drink. What you got over here? I just got me a
Uh-oh.
little wine going on, you know.
Oh,
What you got? I know you got something that you sipping on.
now
What is
why you
it?
gotta say it like that?
Just we grown over here. We grown.
Okay,
We need
okay.
to be
Well,
sipping, you
on
know.
that note, I got a little something here.
Oh, okay. That
You
looks
know,
pretty.
yeah, it looks pretty and it smells a little fruity,
Okay.
a little strong fruity. Maybe has it starts with maybe a little T and an Ela or
Oh,
something.
oh.
I don't know.
That's my favorite.
With a little Keith in the middle somewhere.
That's my favorite. Yeah, I just got me
So
a
the
little
toast
wine over here, but
is
yeah,
to
let's
you.
do a little toast. Thank
Yes,
you.
yes, yes.
Okay.
Mm, mm,
Hmm.
mm.
Yeah, that's good. Yep, I needed that.
Now
Hmm. Hmm.
it's good when you drink it. You humming or I didn't realize I was
Yeah.
doing that.
Right. You need to, take that edge off, give you something to like calm your spirit,
And then it feels good
Yeah.
coming right down here. Oh, wait a minute. Speaking of that, what's that on your shirt? Look, thick thighs. Is that what you got on that shirt there?
That's me. That's me. It's more to it, thick thighs and locked vibes, But yes, that part.
Impressive. Love it. I love the
That
shirt.
part. Yes, yes.
Looking
Okay.
good.
Thank you. You too, sir. You
Thank you, thank you, thank
too.
you. I miss you. Wow.
No,
Oh
me
man.
too. Me too. It's been so long. Well, let's jump into topic number 2, and we're gonna talk about some expectations. And if we think that it's important to have expectations of others. So I don't know. I guess I can, start off this one about the expectations. And I guess for me, it's just a simple no. I don't even right.
No, the exclamation point.
I, right. Right. I don't even want to sugarcoat it or anything, but it's to have like nobody's ever gonna live up to your expectations, So to have some and expect people to do what it is that you want them to do and live as you want them to live, that's just unreasonable. It just doesn't make sense to try to hold someone to those standards. It's like if you expect somebody to do A, and they're almost there but don't quite get there, you're going to be disappointed. It's like you're setting yourself up for failure each time because they'll never live up to them, and you're constantly be changing the bar.
Right.
So I just think that that's just unreasonable to put on somebody to have them live up to your expectations. It's like accept people for who they are,
Right.
meet them where they are. It's like either you love me and accept me for me or keep it moving, because I am who I am, and I'm not, changing. I'll grow with somebody, but I'm not going to change. So it's like, just think it's unfair to, expect somebody to live up, to your expectations.
Yeah, that's strong.
Right.
That's strong.
Hey,
Yeah.
you heard it. You heard what I
No.
said. A firm no. What about you?
That's cool. I'm gonna do probably the opposite.
Okay, tell
But
me.
that's how I feel today.
Okay.
Because how I felt years ago, I
Right.
100% agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
Just me in terms of going through some more personal growth
Right.
and development and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I say the opposite in terms
Okay.
of I say yes in a sense
Mm-hmm.
where I'm going to pursue you or see you
Mm-hmm.
as a 10, so to speak,
Oh,
until
okay.
you prove me wrong.
Right.
And so
Okay.
I have expectations of you because I already know we were we've gone through various relationships, and so we know what
Mm-hmm.
we want.
This is
And
true.
so
I agree with that.
I
Mm-hmm.
look at it to the point where you see someone, you find someone, and then whether if it's a friend or if it's
Mm-hmm.
someone you're looking to be a partner with, that
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna look at them as a 10 until they say something. I'm like, okay, she crazy, you know. But before I prejudge, I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna treat this person as if, because if my attitude is lower, or if I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just waiting for the punchline. I'm waiting
Yeah.
for it. I'm
Right.
waiting for it.
Right.
And then that other person's, it's gonna feel something, and so they may not be
Mm-hmm.
themselves because they're
Yeah.
looking at me saying, okay, what's he waiting for? Why is he,
Right.
he's trying to figure something out to say,
Yeah.
okay, I'm out.
Yeah.
So that's why I say that I'm gonna put them at a 10 until they
Mm-hmm.
prove me otherwise. Until they say something or do something, I'm like, nah, I'm
Yeah.
out of here. So that's why I kind of I 100% agree with you, but then
Mm-hmm.
I feel, you know what? I'm gonna treat this person saying, okay, this person may have an off day, or if I meet someone
Right.
for
That's
the
true.
first time,
It happens.
they may, stepped on a nail or something, or they got that small little pebble rocking their shoe that's irritating when they walking, like, and they really don't want to take their shoe
They
off to get it out, to
say it
shake it
just
out.
messed up the whole day.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
Just
So
messing
that's
up moods out here.
so that's why, I just say I'm gonna treat them. I'm gonna give them the expectation that they deserve until they do something or say something. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna treat them as who they
Mm-hmm.
really are.
Yeah, I'm definitely
No.
with that part. Yeah, because when you show me who you are and it does not align with who I am,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Bye
I
bye.
just got to
Yeah,
take a step back. Yeah,
yeah.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
Just let them do them, but
right.
that they're not the one. You know that you can't say certain things to them because word
Mm-hmm.
will get out. Cause those people that
Mm-hmm.
you say something to and you think you can confide in them, and all of a
Right.
sudden now with social media, it's like now with social media is all of a sudden like I'm tripping. Now with social media, you see something that someone says something about you, you can't delete it.
Yeah.
You may
Right.
see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different posts
Mm-hmm.
that come out, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay,
Right. Look, I'm new to social media.
yeah,
I just started a little while ago because that just not wasn't my forte. But now I'm out here, you know, doing this social media thing, and yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot, but so far I'm enjoying it. So
yeah.
far so good.
I'm
But
enjoying it too. I'm learning
yeah,
about social media.
right,
I never thought I'd be on it, but it's because I thought it was for
exactly,
a whole nother generation.
right,
But I'm on it.
yeah, okay.
I
Well,
be on it. I be on it.
okay, well, we're gonna get ready to wrap things up, and let's, always end our conversation, with three things. Three things you enjoy, three things uh, I don't know, three things that you want to do, whatever it might be. And today I'm thinking about three things that you want to overcome. You know, yeah, let's get into that. Let's end it with that. The
Do
three things.
you want me to do three? You do three, or do one, 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 one? What do you want to?
Just go ahead and shoot off your three. We can do it like that.
I have five, but then I
Oh,
narrowed it down to three. So
okay, yeah,
no.
just be your three.
All right.
We can
So
talk about the other two another day.
the first is procrastination.
Oh,
That's one thing that I want to overcome.
playing with me. That was one of
Oh,
mine.
that's what I'm talking about. So we can
we
piggyback off that then, because
right. We on the same
because
page.
that's a huge one, because I talk about it, but I live it as well. I put things
Mm-hmm.
off over and over and over again because I know either A, it's going to take a long time,
Yep.
two, it's going to get me to really have to focus and concentrate where I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to.
Right.
I'm kind of more laid back, but if I got to really focus, concentrate, I'm like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
so I was like, I'll do it tomorrow
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, but tomorrow never comes.
Right.
Keep on putting it off, because I have a list of my things to do. As growing up, I got that little things
Mm-hmm.
to do list, and it's always something to do. And
I got
so
one of those in my phone. A lot of
so
things been on there for months now. I think with my procrastination is more of I just don't want to. You know, it's
no.
like I think if it was something that I really wanted to do, I would
Uh-huh.
knock it out and get it done. And I think, the fact that it's like, I think that's why I'm procrastinating it. Cause it's like, oh, now I gotta do this,
Is it
thing.
important? Is it an important thing to do, or is it just like chores when you think of that?
Mm. I think if it's something that's important and meaningful, I'll get it done.
Okay.
I might still drag my feet a little bit, but it'll get done. It'll get done by whatever deadline or whatever it is. But
Mm-hmm.
otherwise, it's like, it just makes it a task. And it's like, okay, I'll push it off to the very, very last minute, and then get it done. But to be actually like when it came to school and stuff, me procrastinating, I would wait to the last minute. And that was the time that I always got the A's when I knew I had to knock it out. But when I had more time to focus and think, it was like, where that C come from? So I'm not sure, but yeah, that's one of mine. I need to get to it, stop doing all that because it's only hurting us,
Yeah.
because it's just
Oh my
more things
gosh.
that we got to do.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, sometimes other people are dependent upon you, and by you
Hmm.
procrastinating, it's like it's not just you anymore.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I
So
didn't look at it like that.
yeah.
That's so true. All right, what's your number two? Let's see. Do we got two things alike? What's this
Let
number
me
two?
see. My number two is making the decision and sticking to it.
Okay.
Because a
Hmm.
lot of times, a lot of people don't like the wishy-washy stuff where one day
Right.
you want to do this and then you want to do that, then you want to do this or do that, and just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Hmm.
I need to focus on making a decision and sticking to it.
Yeah.
Deciding what I want to do, what I want to eat, where I want to go, who I want to
Hmm.
be, and just
Oh,
sticking
that's
with
a
it.
good one.
And just
Hmm.
sticking with it instead of uh let me see how I feel tomorrow, or
Right.
let me see how I feel the next day. And then all of a sudden you're going back and forth, back and forth. So I just think about making that decision and then sticking with it and then dealing with the consequences, because it's never going to be
Yeah.
perfect. It's
Right.
never going to be you're never going to have the perfect answer, the perfect solution.
Hmm.
But that kind of goes back into the procrastination factor where you're putting it
Yeah.
off because you think about, okay, maybe what if it goes wrong? How would I
Hmm.
feel? Will I be
Yeah.
embarrassed or whatever? And so I just realized that everything that you do in life is going to be a learning curve. You're going to learn from it. And
Hmm.
hopefully it will help you become better where you don't make that mistake again if it is a mistake that's being made. But if it's not, you make a decision, you stick with it, and you just make
Right.
it work. But that's just one of my
Yeah.
three.
I know I said that I will let you go with all of yours, but one of mine, which I guess was my top one, kind of piggybacks off of you, where my number one was fear. And like you were saying, it's like just having that fear of the unknown, like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, what's going to happen if, I do this or if I don't do this. So
Right.
that's definitely something that I need to work on because it definitely holds you back and prevents you just pretty much from being great. So like I don't really care for flying. And this is something that's recent,
Uh-huh.
with me and flying, but it's really prohibiting me from seeing the people that I love and need to see. So that's definitely something that, I want to overcome. So
That's a
that
good one. Getting out of that comfort zone. That's
exactly
that's
that part.
that's a good one. That's a good
That
one.
part. Hmm.
Wow, that's a good one.
Okay, what's your last one that you want to overcome?
My last one kind of is setting a goal
Okay. Hmm.
and being okay, and not being okay if I don't achieve it, I guess, because a lot of times I
Yeah.
will set
Yeah.
goals and then I'd be like, oh, whatever. I'll
Hmm.
set the same goal again the next day, and
Right.
then the next day or whatever. But I
Hmm.
I I I gotta be at a point where I set a goal and I gotta do whatever it is in my power to make sure that I achieve it or get close to it. Because sometimes if I start, let's even walking, for example,
Hmm.
I used to be more than just a walker.
Right.
In terms of in terms of working, in terms of exercising.
Right, Mr. Track Star.
What I'm
Hmm.
saying? I used, so it's funny when I had a chance to see some relatives a year ago, they're like,
Okay.
oh, you need to, indirectly they were trying to tell me that you're not the same that you were 30 years ago. And, I had to
Yeah.
suck it up and be like,
Right.
right.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so just setting that goal and not being okay with not achieving it, because I'm like, I don't have, I don't like to wear a lot of jewelry or anything like that, but I have a little step thing on my phone and I track it every day. But if I'm far from my quote unquote steps for the day,
right.
Sometimes I'd be like, all right, whatever, dude. It's just me, and I'll just think I'll make it up the next day. But
but I mean, you learn from not meeting those goals. You learn what not to do the next time, or what you should do more of the next time. So it's always a lesson. So
putting them donuts down, so I need to do less of. No, I don't eat
who
donuts.
You telling? You ain't the only one. You see it say these thick thighs over here. You are not alone in that journey. Not alone. Because that actually goes right into my third one, where it's like, I'm always, having a need to feed my feelings. Something bother me and I'm picking up something sweet, or whatever it may be. So yeah, that's something I don't need to constantly feed my feelings. I need to find out exactly why it's bothering me, and fix it in a productive way. If I'm stressed or whatever, like you said, go out and take a walk, if I'm tired, or something, lay my butt down or read a book, find something else that's going to relax and calm me instead of constantly, what I'm saying, picking up that crap that we don't need. So,
yeah,
yeah.
I feel you.
Right. But now that we got those 3 things, out the way, it was so good catching up with you, Keon. Always a great time with you. Always.
Precious, man. This is the beginning
Right.
of a long, 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 long conversation that's never going to end.
I love that. I love that. That's awesome. Okay, guys. Till next time, this is You Heard What I Said, and we'll be back. So just stay tuned, follow us on our socials, and we'll catch up with you next week.
What is your social there?
Okay, it's Precious Said 888. You can follow me on Instagram, because like I said, I'm new to this. So what about you?
Keon Said 37 is in the house.
Okay. Recorded in progress. Oh, okay. Now I got time. Like now I'm nervous because this is no longer a test. I gotta go. I gotta calm down. Okay, wait. We're gonna have to edit this part out because I made some notes.
Let me ask you, did you see me?
Yeah, I saw you. So you were looking at paper?
Yeah. But dude, does my face look small?
A little bit.
Yeah.
But I think that's because you must be sitting far back. Maybe. Because see, I was sitting up like this. I was sitting up close. But now I could sit back. So next time I'll
like this, man. Yeah, you can reach me. Okay.
Oh.
Right?
Oh God. Until next time.
You?
Heard.
What?
I.
No, that ain't gonna work.
Because
Yes.
You're gonna mean exactly, what you say.
Yeah.
You
heard?
We gonna leave that in there.
Nah.